Listen, and guess what I'm getting into today, y'all? I'm going to give you my top 5 NFL Thanksgiving games of all time. Let's go to number 5 on the list, please. Give it to me. Bam! 2012, Washington at Dallas. Our colleague, RG3, in his rookie year, goes off on the Cowboys, all right? Throwing for 311 yards, 4 touchdowns, led Washington to 4 second-quarter touchdowns and a 28-3 lead at halftime. Cowboys tried to come back, of course. But, of course, they're allergic to success. Y'all do know that, right? So the comeback failed. Washington wins 38-31. That's my top 5. Let's go to top 4. Right here. Give it to me, please. Right here. 2005. Broncos versus the Cowboys. Why? Dallas outplayed Denver all day long. But that didn't matter. Why? Because what can go wrong did go wrong. Billy Cundiff missed a potential game-winning 34-yard field goal with time winding down in regulation. So we got to go to overtime, right? Ron Dave bust off a 55-yard run, okay, which sets up Jason Elam's game-winning field goal for Denver. They win the game 24-21. Isn't it beautiful? Thanksgiving is such a special day. Let's go to number 3 on the list, please. Give it to me right now. 1989, the Bounty Bowl. Remember that? Eagles head coach Buddy Ryan allegedly placed bounties on various Cowboy players, including place kicker Louis Zendeja. The Eagles spent the whole day bullying the Cowboys in what was the low point of a truly dismal 1-15 season in Jimmy Johnson's first year in Dallas. Eagles 27, Cowboys nada. I love it. It just gets even better. Let's go to top 2 on the list, please. Thanksgiving Day game. Give it to me. Has to be 1993. Dolphins, Cowboys in the snow and ice in Texas Stadium. Remember this? The Cowboys clung to a 14-13 lead with time winding down in the game. What happened? Pete Stoyanovich attempted a 41-yard field goal, which was blocked by Dallas. Game over, right? Oh, somebody done told you wrong. Here comes Leon Lett, inexplicably tries to jump on the ball, which he fails to corral. The Dolphins successfully fall on it and kick a game-winning 19-yard field goal as time expires. Dolphins 16, Cowboys 14. Oh, that was a beautiful moment. But nothing beats number 1 on the list. Absolutely, positively nothing. Give it to me right here, please. Bam! 46-36. Why do you say that? Vikings, Cowboys. The Cowboys chose not to draft the one and only Randy Moss, despite Moss's desire to play for them. Okay? So when the Vikings came to Dallas that Thanksgiving, he reminded Jerry Jones of why that was a very, very big mistake. He embarrassed the Cowboys, catching 3 touchdown passes of over 50 yards, putting on a show. The Vikings 46, the Cowboys 36. The second greatest receiver in the history of the National Football League, behind the one and only Jerry Rice, wanted to be a Cowboy, was in position to be a Cowboy, could have been a Cowboy. And the Cowboys passed. Wondering why they haven't won since 1995? Those are some good reasons.
You are a beautiful mind. You picked 5 Cowboys losses as your favorite Thanksgiving games of all time.
Absolutely. It's such a beautiful
You know
thing.
other teams play on Thanksgiving, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it wasn't really Thursday night. It wasn't really Thanksgiving night games until a few years ago. And you don't expect me to lean on the Detroit Lions to bring up Thanksgiving Day games that will provide the moments, do you? Of course not. It's all about the Cowboys.
Why don't you be fair?
Okay.
And give them, the Cowboy fan watching you right now, throw him a chicken bone.
What's the chicken bone?
Or a turkey
Why didn't
bone.
you give him Clint Longley when he came off the bench, the only game he's ever played? That famous game against Washington when he threw those 2 touchdown passes to Drew Pearson in '73.
I have no recollection. I have no recollection of that. I don't recall that. I don't recall that.
Show the highlights,
Well, listen. That's when the Cowboys were relevant. That's when they deserved to be called America's team. Roger Staubach was their quarterback. Drew Pearson, a future Hall of Famer, who should have went into the Hall of Fame a hell of a lot sooner than they let him in the Hall of Fame. All of that stuff. And, of course, I'm never going to throw shade on the playmaker with Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman. And certainly once my man primetime Deion Sanders showed up after beating them in San Francisco when Barry Switzer was their coach, and then he came back the following year and won the Super Bowl. But this right here I just felt was emblematic of the kind of things that have led to 27 consecutive years of ineptitude.
You are the ultimate troll.
I think it's important.
The ultimate troll.
I think it's important.
Well,
I think it's
guess what? We're going to see how your Thanksgiving's going to be today. Because still to come, Come on, first take. Will my New York Giants pull off the biggest?
Keep getting back up. They're going to get Jameson Williamson. They have 2 first-round draft picks next year. And guess what? One of these Thanksgivings, my dad isn't going to have acid reflux and indigestion from them getting their butt kicked on Thursday football.
Look,
so I'm excited that next year they coming back.
They come in on a 3-game winning streak. I mean, he should have fun watching it today.
I got a whole problem about that.
You never know. Any given Thursday. Rob Ninkovich, what are you most thankful for?
Well, I think it's the success of Mike McDaniel and how he's come to the Miami Dolphins and really changed how this offense looks. They're very explosive. And coming into the season, I had my skepticism based on, just kind of his quirkiness and how he did his interviews and could he stand up in front of a team and really command. And I think he's done a great job. He's funny. He comes off as likable. And, he's done a terrific job with Tua. Again, so I think Mike McDaniels and what he's done with the Miami Dolphins this year was fun to watch.
No question. It does seem like they have something special going on there in Miami. But our next stop on this show is Chicago, where Bears quarterback Justin Fields said he's dealing with an AC joint injury in his left shoulder and will evaluate how he feels later this week before determining whether he will play Sunday against the Jets. Here's more of what Fields had to say yesterday.
The pain is pretty high today, and just with throwing and stuff like that, like finishing throws, just the pain with that, So I'm just gonna, work throughout the week to just kind of get that motion down, try to, get that pain down a little bit, and see what happens, Friday night, Saturday.
So he said it's a separated shoulder with ligament damage. It's his non-throwing shoulder. Like, he's talking about playing?
Yeah, good luck with that. Like,
right?
and way to announce your injury, right? So you want to go. Have you seen the Jets on film? You don't want that smoke, man. And listen, if I'm the Chicago Bears, I'm not going to put this young man at risk. I understand he wants to be tough and he wants to earn his stripes and the respect of his teammates. Look at that. He's on the ground grimacing. Do you want Quentin Williams to fall on top of you? You want Franklin Myers? You don't want that smoke. And then part of their offense is putting him at risk because he's part of the running game.
Well,
nah, man, live to fight another day.
Yeah, look, he's been sensational over the last month or so as a runner, and obviously it's been incredible to watch. But I mean, D. Wood, like, is he putting himself at too much risk? Like, does he have to change the way he plays in order to survive in this league?
Well, listen, I think over time, but part of his development, part of the way you develop these young quarterbacks with the athletic profile that he has is you got to utilize his legs, right? That's how you're going to help them develop as a passer as well by time. But man, you can't sustain. This is not sustainable. The hits that he's been taking. He's like 220 or whatever, but he's not Josh Allen out there running the football, okay? So I think for the Chicago Bears right now, that's their best option of winning is utilizing his legs. But coming this offseason, they got to fortify their offensive line to give that young man a chance.
They do have a lot of work to do on their roster, Ninko, but like in terms of his development as a quarterback, like how much can you afford to lean on the running and how much time do you have to devote to developing the parts of his game that'll allow him to run less eventually?
Well, I think it's a balance of both things. When you have an athletic quarterback, obviously you want to take what the defense gives you. If you're in cover 5 man, if you're in man coverage and everyone's back's turned and you can scramble and run for 25 yards, do that. Go and do that. But I think you have to understand, when do I dip out of bounds? When do I slide? When do I have to put my head down and try and get a first down when the game's on the line? So that all comes with experience. And from the Patriot game on, I feel like the Chicago Bears have figured out how do we put this kid in the best positions to succeed. Now, moving forward, you have to understand you want to protect the player from putting themselves in position to hurt himself. If you have a banged up shoulder, you need to have him down the line here next year, the year after that. Don't put him out there to where he might have to have surgery after the season. So protect your quarterback. I would rest him, not put him in harm's way.
They have the Jets on Sunday over across the river here in New Jersey. Trevor Siemian is Fields' backup. You could be having Trevor Siemian versus Mike White in Week 12. So we'll see how that goes for Justin Fields. Meanwhile, today, Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills could be set for a Thanksgiving feast against the Detroit Lions. He ranks top 6 in total QBR, yards per attempt, and yards per rush this season, when the Lions defense ranks in the bottom 3 in each of those categories, including last in yards per attempt. So What do you think, Bart? Lions have any chance?
No, and I'm sick of the NFL for doing this. Every year.